Hey, in this video, we're gonna talk about how to network with people at an event or for a job. We're gonna get all into it. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm Dana Keith with Dana Keith Film, father, filmmaker, and creator. Here on this channel, we try to add as much value as possible by documenting the journey, sharing our story, and here today, we're gonna add value by telling you and sharing with you tips on how to network. Now, for me, I'm a network bug. I'm a very much an extrovert, so I actually love networking. Recently, I was kind of depressed. I was a little on the downside, and I went to a networking event, and all of a sudden it flipped. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm where I need to be. I actually love networking. So for me, I'm going to share with you guys a few tips on how to be successful with networking. So the first step, and guys, these are going to be ideas. These are things that I believe in, but hear me out from start to finish. Here we go. The first step is actually what I just asked for you to be, which is open-minded. You have to be an open-minded individual to network, simply because, like, why else would you do it? If you're a closed-minded person, then networking will do nothing for you. So the first step is to be open-minded. This is open-minded about the potential. This is open-minded about the opportunity that you're going to get. Be open-minded about the impact that you can make in someone else's life. When you network, you're actually helping them. So this is you being open-minded enough to even start, to even begin, to even jump, make the leap, the commitment, and we're gonna help you do it today. So tip number one is being open-minded. Tip number two, this one's tough for me sometimes, but number two is let them speak. Whoever you are networking with, let them speak. Don't cut them off. If you have an idea in your head, don't say it. Start listening again. Listen more attentively. Tip number one is be open-minded. Tip number two is let them speak. When I say let them speak, I'm gonna flip it because for some people they might understand this. Others may not catch it. But nonetheless, when you let them speak, as somebody who is solving a problem in business, you're gaining artillery. You're gaining knowledge. You're gaining the verbatim that they used and the things that are important to them. So then, as somebody who is networking with them, you can then position yourself as an expert to solve their problems, to add value to their life. So tip number two is very important. Let them speak. Tip number three, we kind of just dove into it, but number three is help them solve a problem. People pay to solve a problem. I would pay somebody to come unlock my door if my keys are stuck in my car. I've done it before. I will pay somebody to come in and fix my plumbing if I have a plumbing issue because I desperately need to use those services. You actually let them speak. Now you can add value to them. But now you're going to solve a problem. This is tip number three because it's so important to solve a problem and add value. In the business world, that's what business is, period. Anything that solves a problem, people will pay for. That's my tip number three. Tip number four, this one I'm working on, and I actually use the technique which I'll share with you, but tip number four is names. Names. It's so important to remember names or to try and utilize names as much as possible. So when I meet somebody, typically shake their hand, meet them, I try to use their name 3 times as fast as I can. John this, John that. So John, basically this. I have a tough time remembering names, right? I could list 100 million reasons why I don't remember names, but I can tell you that it's because I simply don't use their name enough. I'm actually really good at remembering names, and I found that out because I have great relationships with many people, and it seems to be that when I remember your name and we make a personal connection, that our rapport is 10 times stronger than if I didn't know your name. It feels like, yeah, I remember we had that conversation, but what's your name again? Yeah, you're not gonna feel trust. You're not gonna feel value. You're definitely not gonna feel love or any type of rapport from our previous conversation. So tip number four is remember their name. Tip number five is relationships. So when I think about networking and events, or even getting a job for that matter, it's a lot of times going to be the relationships that you have. Who do you know? So if you go into a networking event to simply build one relationship at a time, a lot of times you'll gain 5 to 10 people. But if you aim and find a positive outlook or the mindset that this was a productive meeting, great networking event, if I can just meet one new person, then that right there is going to be critical for your success, because you value the relationships. Relationships are where all the juice are. Now I'm going to give you a bonus tip. I didn't promise this, but I wanted to make sure I give you a bonus tip because I'm passionate about adding value to you. With that being said, my final and bonus tip today when it comes to networking is follow up. There's so much potential in these networking events, but they go nowhere if you don't follow up. Someone once told me that the fortune is in the follow-up. And now I actually understand that, because as I'm a business owner, I start to see when I truly follow up with certain clients, they spend their money with me, they invest, they work with me simply because I followed up. And I've also learned that on the clients where I could have done a better job at, improving that relationship simply by following up, those business relationships could be better. So my final tip today is going to be the fortune is in the follow-up. So let's recap. First step is being open-minded. You cannot network and you will not be successful at an event or for a job if you're not open-minded. Have that positive mental attitude. The second step is let them speak. By letting them speak, you can gain artillery to then use on them to show that you are the expert. And that kind of bleeds right into tip number 3, which is solve a problem, add value. If you can do that, I promise you are going to find major success in networking. Tip number 4, remember their names. Their names are so important. And that actually bleeds into tip number 5, which is about relationships. If you remember their name, you have a better relationship. But if you go into networking just thinking, hey, I just want to add one valuable relationship to my life, maybe it's called a friend. If I can just think about one friend, gaining a friend, learning someone's name, telling them, hey, what I do, those are all things that will help you network. And then my final tip is the fortune is in the follow-up. If you truly do the follow-up, like how I'm saying, you, my friends, will be very successful. Happy networking to you. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If not, throw us a thumbs down. Comment what you loved about it. Comment your experience. Tell us where you're from. Nonetheless, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to be aware of when we're dropping new content. Peace and love. I'm Dana Keith. Y'all have a good one. Take care.